Hey, what's up everybody? It's Sir Mr. Clean and we're back with another review, this time on Diablo 4 Lord of Hatred, the second expansion for Diablo 4. And I gotta tell you, I really got into Diablo 4 when it was released. I had so much fun with it. I think it's my favorite Diablo since Diablo 2. It may have overtaken it now because I've played probably twice as many hours of Diablo 4 than I ever did of Diablo 2. So I was really into it for the first handful of months. I got into some of the seasons, did a lot of the seasonal content for the first few seasons, and then I kind of fell off a little bit. And I tried to come back when Vessel of Hatred came out, but the story of Vessel of Hatred didn't really grab me. I didn't like the area as much. What's it called? Okay, so we're gonna look at the map real quick. It is called Nahantu. Sorry, Nahantu. So yeah, I didn't love it. I still played through most of it. I didn't beat it when it first came out. I did fall off after that. But then we got the announcement of the expansion, Lord of Hatred, last year, and then they announced that the Paladin class was coming to the game, and Paladin was my favorite in Diablo 2. I really loved Paladin. I had played through the beginning of that game many times, Act 1 many times with the Paladin. So I really liked that idea. And then they basically said, hey, we'll also let you pre-order the game and play a Paladin like right away. So I thought that was really cool. What a great option. That's something they'd never done before. I also don't think that in any of their expansions they released two classes. I think all the expansions had one class that they added to the game. Maybe not. I could be wrong. I wasn't following expansions and all their content very well many years ago for Diablo 3 and Diablo 2. But I thought that was really cool. And so I had really contemplated whether or not I was going to pre-order this, and because I wanted to play the Paladin, but I didn't know if I was going to pre-order. But then they announced that Warlock was coming with the expansion as well. And that kind of sold me because I really liked the idea of multiple classes to just give you a lot more content to dig into. So I said, fine, sure, I'll pre-order it. So I pre-ordered it probably a month before the expansion came out. So I pre-ordered it like the beginning of April. And then I started up a Paladin and did a scenario skip. So I started basically when I started my Paladin, I skipped the scenario. So I started at endgame and then just started leveling up and trying to do as much as I could. So yeah, I think what happened was I played Spiritborn, finished Vessel of Hatred, and then I started a Paladin and did a scenario skip to get to endgame right away, and really just was having a blast with the Paladin. Then the Lord of Hatred actually comes out. I really loved the Doom, the Dark Ages crossover that they did, so I was very impressed with that. As you could tell, I have a Doom, the Dark Ages. I bought the discounted armor set with currency that I already had. I am a little bummed that in the new battle pass, the new reliquary stuff that they do, there's only like 200 points available to buy. I like the battle passes when if you integrate with the battle pass, like you can earn that currency. You know what? Let me check something. I wanted to see if maybe the season has and I just missed it. Let's check really quick. We'll log in with my Warlock because I'm a seasonal. That's my seasonal character, and I want to see if the season gives us currency. I remember before. I'm pretty sure it was the battle pass that gave you the reliquary. It wasn't called a reliquary then, but it was just the battle pass. Let's see. Does the season give you currency? It gives you lots of points. You get legendary crafting materials. But I don't see... You get a lot of crafting materials. I didn't actually look ahead on these very far. Yeah, it doesn't look like you get... You get obols. Is that what that is? Obols? Yeah, I don't think you get any in-game currency for completing the season, for doing all the season activities. And that's kind of a shame. Like, I liked it before when you could earn... I think you could earn almost half or more of what the reliquaries cost, or what the battle pass costed. Because I think the battle pass was like 1,000 currency, and you could earn like 700 back or something by doing it. But if you look at the if you look at the reliquary now, the first tier of the reliquary that's free for everybody has 100 platinum each, 2 things that are worth 100 platinum, so it's 200 platinum. But there's nothing else in the rest of the reliquaries. There's no more platinum in any of these. And that's kind of a shame. So I would say first strike on some of the new stuff that they've done. Even though the reliquary stuff isn't part of the expansion, it is newer. I think it started a couple seasons ago. Not a fan of that. However, Lord of Hatred is a great continuation of the story. If Vessel of Hatred was like the middle of the full story, then I understand how underwhelming it felt. I wanted a bit more finality at the end of Vessel of Hatred than we got. But Lord of Hatred definitely stepped it up, and the story is like so much better than Vessel of Hatred, I think. Mainly because it is the finale of a 3-part story that they're telling. And I think they wrapped it up really well. I very much enjoyed the story. I'm actually looking forward to playing through the entire game again, doing story mode again all the way through. I was actually going to try and see if I could play couch console with like my wife or something and see if she'd be into it. And we just go through the entire campaign together. So that would be fun. And I'm looking forward to that. Warlock is a very interesting class. I actually watched something recently that kind of talked about builds. Like, I usually don't watch build videos or look up builds because I don't want to influence my choices too much on how I build my character. I want to go with the flow and kind of learn as I go. But now that I've played with Warlock enough, and I've also played with Paladin quite a bit, as I'm approaching more endgame stuff with them, I definitely want to experiment with some builds and see what's up. I think Warlock has a very interesting build that I've heard about, and it has to do with like powering up something and then like blowing everything on the screen up, and that just sounds super fun. So I'm definitely interested in trying it out. I love the skins. I wish they didn't cost so much. But even the free stuff that you get from the battle passes are pretty nice. Most of them are pretty nice. So I'm happy with most of that stuff. The skins cost way too much. Like, it should not cost $25 for a mount. Like, it just shouldn't, period. But that's how Blizzard is. They did the same thing with World of Warcraft. Mounts are freaking expensive there. I wish it was handled a little bit differently. I think it would be nice if you could earn back some of your platinum. Because, like, you just getting 200 per season sucks. Like, that's nothing. And outside of that, I think the expansion itself is very good. The changes to the skill trees, if you've noticed, the skill trees now are much more refined. You have your base skills, you have variations of those base skills that you pick one of the 3 variations, you power up those variations, and then you can pump up to 15 points into the skills now instead of just 5. And so it really streamlines what you're doing, making your decisions less chaotic. So like all the little stat increases that they gave you before, branching off of all of these, you're now spending Paragon for, and you're getting it in your equipment rather than in your skill tree. So your skill tree really is honing in on your core skills, the skills that you will be using on your controller or keyboard. So I think that's good. I think that's a good refinement tactic. And then from there, you can really power up whatever skills you're picking and make combinations and things like that. I'm very happy with that. It helped me kind of streamline what I was doing. I was excited about that. On my Warlock here, I haven't gotten to the Paragon board yet, so I can't show that to you unless I switch characters again. I also have the way you look is just super cool. I'm still working through the campaign on my Warlock, although I did beat the campaign with my Paladin. There's just a lot of good things to say. Like, everything feels great. The rate at which you get gear and stuff feels great. All the perks and upgrades feel great. Both Warlock and Paladin feel strong. Paladin more so, I think. Maybe it's because it's a melee character, and that's what I always gravitate towards melee characters. So a spell casting a little more of an odd character like a Warlock is a little harder for me to get into. I'm so used to just straight up, physical damage and those types of things. So I'm learning, but I really like it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. A couple other things that I wanted to point out, and they're things that I had heard and also things I've just noticed, is that this is the first time the Diablo franchise has had 2 expansions for one of their games. And it sounds like there's going to be more. There's already plans for more content, more seasons, but I have a feeling that they may even start up another storyline. Because there's a lot they can do. And I feel like they've got kind of a really good foundation now with the game. The game is in a really good state, both with how much content they've put out so far and how they've reworked things. I think it's impressive that they've finally gotten to that second expansion. Diablo 1 had the Hellfire expansion, which I don't even think was made by Blizzard. I think it was made by another company. For some reason, I feel like there was a Blizzard North logo, and maybe that was like a subsidiary of Blizzard at the time. Then, of course, Lord of Destruction for Diablo 2, and then Reaper of Souls for Diablo 3, which really kind of revamped Diablo 3 into the game that a lot of people ended up liking. They had a rocky launch, and really nothing was as good as Diablo 2 was at the time. And now I think Diablo 4 is a pretty good contender. I enjoy this a lot. I've dabbled a little bit in Path of Exile and Path of Exile 2, and while they are both fun, it feels like they are so much harder to get into. And I appreciate, even though that the hardcore ARPG folks don't necessarily like how simplified Diablo is, I think it's a really good mix for people who are newer to the ARPG world, and it could be a stepping stone into more complex ARPG mechanics, either in the future with Diablo 4 or whatever iteration of Diablo takes after that, or just moving on to like Path of Exile or something. And I think there's a place for both. Like, all the ARPGs don't have to be, all hardcore, right? They can vary. And I think Diablo 4, Blizzard's been smart in making their games pretty approachable. Even if you look back at the original Warcraft series, Warcraft 1, 2, and 3, and StarCraft 1 and 2, and even Heroes of the Storm, I think it was a very approachable MOBA, right? Like, yeah, League of Legends is, and the other one, I remember the other one's name, but League of Legends is kind of like the big one, right? Everybody kind of references League of Legends as like the big main MOBA, but I really enjoyed Heroes of the Storm because I knew the characters from my favorite franchises, and they it seemed like it was simplified enough that it wasn't super hard to just get into and have fun. Yeah, I wouldn't win all the time because I'm not a great mobile player, but like it was approachable, which I liked about it. I feel like Overwatch kind of has that same thing too. Like it's an approachable game of the genre, right? Here of a team shooter. I think Diablo is an approachable ARPG. I also did dabble and played through the main story at one point when it first released of Diablo Immortal. While not a great game by any means, the story was fine. I fell off at the end game because I just don't want to pay money to get rolls and stuff like that. Like that's just not the type of gamer that I am. So I really enjoyed Diablo 4 because it doesn't have all that pay to win stuff. And I really wish they'd rethink some of that with Immortal. Maybe someday I'll go back and take a look at it. I'm also very impressed that they released Warlock for Diablo 2, Diablo Immortal, and Diablo 4. Like, that's ambitious, right? So not only did they release Paladin early on its own and had a whole skill tree for him before they revamped the skill tree. So they had to build like 2 skill trees for the Paladin. One to coincide with the old version and one to coincide with the new version. So that's a ton of effort. That's a ton of extra effort that they didn't have to do. They did not have to do that, but they did it. So they wanted to get Paladin out to folks early, a few months early. And I think that won over a lot of people. So that's really cool. The other thing I wanted to point out is I've only dabbled with it a little bit, but War Plans. It's a new way to interact with endgame content. Endgame content in almost every game, regardless of the type of game it is. If it's a MMO or, you know, an ARPG or an adventure game, anything that has kind of like that endgame content where then it like you finish the story and then you keep going and you just keep leveling up and building out your character and making them crazy powerful. Those games have always been very daunting to me because I'm not like a min-maxer. Like I don't have that mindset and I don't remember things well enough to like put the pieces together and come up with a viable build on my own. So a lot of times I will look up like, okay, what is the best thing for me to be like searching for, right? Like with my Warlock, my goal is that once I beat the campaign, and I get into the end game and start getting into Paragon points, like I want to put together a checklist. I wish the game would help me with this. Like if it would tell you what are the pieces of gear and the different types of builds that you can put together, even if it's just a simplified, okay, there's this type, there's like 5 different types of builds. And here's a checklist of the pieces of gear you're looking for. And here's a checklist of like the stats that you really want to focus in on. To me, having a tool like that in the game would be huge. I hate that when I have to go off and like use a different tool. That bugs me. But I understand it's a whole piece of development that the game doesn't really need because there are tons of content creators and people that put that stuff together for you. I just wish that I had an easy way to get a checklist of what I should be doing. Like, let's say I want to build a specific type of Warlock. I want to build an explosion, like, Chaos Warlock or whatever, right? Actually, here, I have the skill tree right here. I can go look at it. It's one of these here at the bottom. It's the ultimate... I think it's this one. Apocalypse, yeah. If I want to build an Apocalypse Warlock, what are the pieces of gear I'm looking for? What are the skills I should really... Or the skill... not skills, attributes that I should really be focusing in on. So like this one really wants you to do like tons of fire damage. It wants you to have just damage altogether. It wants you to have like overpower. There's certain things that it wants you to have. And just understanding that to me is difficult. And it's always bugged me that I feel like I fall off when I get to that without going and watching a bunch of videos and maybe finding people who have already put together spreadsheets and stuff like that. So that's always been just a barrier to me to some of these games. I'm hoping that maybe I'll be able to get into it more now that they've simplified some things in the skill tree and made it pretty like obvious what you need to do. I'm hopeful that I'll be able to hang on and really build out my characters, because I'd love to get up to like, you know, tier 10, Torment 10 and Torment 12 eventually. Right now, I think I can hang in Torment 4, but I keep dying every so often. It seems like I get one shot every once in a while, which is very frustrating. So I need to like probably get more survivability, right? I need to figure out some things to make my paladin even better. But overall, I love what they've done. I think it's great. I'm very excited to move into more of the end game. And for me, as I'm not super hardcore in the ARPG end game, like there's a bunch of other games I want to play too, so it's hard for me to just stay with one game for forever. And I'm not a full-time streamer either, so I don't have a lot of time to play games, and so I have to really decide what I want to do. That's why the checklist to me is important, because I want to maximize my time, because I don't have a lot of free time to play games. Probably more than a lot of people do, but because I have a very understanding family, and they know that this is my passion and hobby. I've been a gamer for a long time. I'm also a game developer, so I've got a lot of time in this area, probably more than most, but that aren't doing this as a content creator or full time or whatever. But yeah, I think that's probably all I have to say. Like, the new area is great. The new classes are great. The new story is amazing. Best story yet, I think, in Diablo 4. I think they ended it with a banger. And I'm really excited to see like where they go after this. And I'm excited for additional seasons. I'm excited for more crossovers too. The Doom the Dark Ages crossover was probably my favorite because I love Doom, and being able to get items and things like that from Doom in my game is amazing. They're doing a Warcraft a crossover right now, which is also really cool. And some of the stuff they give you just in the free reliquary is awesome. I already have like a sword that looks like Arthas's sword. I think it's like a prior version of his sword or something. Stormbringer, or maybe not. Maybe that's not it, but sounds like Stormbringer. I think Stormbringer is Thor's axe, right? But anyway, it's got a lot of cool stuff. I'm very excited about where they're headed, and I can't wait to play more Diablo. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for being here. Make sure you follow, subscribe, like, comment, do all the good stuff, because we're trying to grow the YouTube channel. We're doing a lot of game reviews. We're doing a lot of trailer reviews. We're doing unboxing of some board game stuff. I'm really into Hero Quest, and so I've been unboxing every expansion I get. And let me know if there's any other types of content that you want to see. I'd be glad to make some more videos about it. So take care, have a good one, and we'll see you later.